Hello, trading is closed on December 15th, 2015. Yesterday I said there was a case to be made for yesterday's low being a bottom. I said that if we had a gap over the day's range, the rally could continue, but in the long run, this low should fall, and I still feel the same way. We'll go over some indicators in just a minute. During the day, MEJT said this drop was a false move. That's DF. The price would come back to this line. It said that rally is a false move and prices would come back to that line, which they did. This line here is the MEJT support resistance level, and you can see how resistance worked late in the day. There's no new MEJT system call for tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, is the report from the FOMC. It doesn't really pay to swing at every pitch, as a famous investor once said. I think all this technical analysis I'm going to talk about can be rendered meaningless if the Fed does something the market doesn't like. But I think as long as we have a gap over today's high, which I think is quite likely, that the rally can proceed to higher prices. Let's go over some of the reasons. Here's the VIX. The original VIX, VXO, we've gone over the upper Bollinger Band and then dropped under it. That tends to be associated with a low. Let me come back here for just a minute. We have a daily pattern which typically, almost always, when this is higher than this, closes at the high of the day. If you don't close at the high of the day, it's very negative unless you have a gap over this high tomorrow. So we'll have to watch tomorrow's open. But even though we couldn't close over these highs, we did close over this low and even over this low, which in my way of thinking means that the market should have legs. If you look at this, this is a cup. Here's a handle. You have a down sloping handle. You then rallied over the high of the handle. That's a buy. Ideally, I wouldn't like to see today's low fall. As long as it doesn't and we continue higher, that's a signal to go long. It's a buy. You can calculate targets in a number of ways. If this is inverted, a diamond on stilts, remember half the diamond's enough. If you take the height and you set it at 38.2%. Here's 61.8, the level I want to see hold. And 100% is right over here at the origin of the left stilt. Now it's possible to say that the gap here, right there, is the origin of the left stilt. We've already hit that, and that may be why we stalled. But even though the pattern doesn't have to go to completion, I think the fact that we had a down slope here and recovered over these lows increases the odds that we're going to keep on moving up. So tomorrow's going to be a wild day. I personally am always flat when the FOMC makes its announcement. I believe if we have a gap over today's highs, which is likely, that the rally will proceed. If instead we promptly take out today's low, especially if we take it out by a large amount with a gap down, that's an island reversal. It invalidates all of today's action, and we'll have to look at our cards again before making a bet. And that's today's call.